Spoiler alert! The sad demise of Master Torbin in Star Wars. The Acolyte portends the collapse of the Jedi Order more than a century hence. A formidable assassin named May is pursuing a small group of Jedi in the Acolyte. Even though there are still many unanswered questions regarding the Acolyte, it appears that Torbin, his master, Indara, Master Soul, and the Wookiee Jedi Kelnacca were involved in the devastation of her coven and home. May is seeking retribution, but killing one of those Jedi is especially difficult. May follows Torbin to a temple on the planet Olega in Revenge/Justice, the second episode of The Acolyte. Even though she anticipates killing him in combat, Master Torbin has fortified himself with a powerful force field while in a deep state of meditation. When May can't hit him with a weapon, she adopts a far more vicious strategy. Welcome to Movie Spy. May uses Torbin's guilt to her advantage and gets him to take a poisonous vial. Although Torbin feels a great sense of comfort, the fact that he voluntarily submits to May indicates a deeper problem that both Torbin and the Jedi Order are facing. Turning to the Force for forgiveness and escape, Master Torbin. In The Acolyte, Master Torbin and May converse with one another. It was revealed in The Acolyte's debut that Master Torbin had accepted the Barash vow. According to Star Wars mythology, Jedi who want to commit their lives to communicating with the Force take the Barash vow. In essence, these Jedi disengage from their everyday responsibilities and enter a profound state of meditation, withdrawing within themselves to discover the answers they seek. Many Jedi take on this vow as a kind of penance because they believe they have done something to bring shame to the Jedi Order and the light side of the Force. By seeking forgiveness, they hope to make up for their transgressions. It is evident that Torbin let his fear and guilt, two negative feelings connected to the dark side, overcome him, even if it is still unknown exactly what Torbin did to cause him to feel so regretful that he would take on the Barash vow and be willing to damage himself. The Barash vow is frequently a last resort. In this case, Torbin shut himself off from the outer world and allowed a dark side acolyte to control his emotions. Essentially, but on a far greater scale, this is also what happens to the Jedi later on. Fearing the dark, the Jedi withdrew. The Jedi also start to turn inward during the century that separates Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, from The Acolyte. The Acolyte is set in the High Republic era, when the Jedi were dispersed throughout the galaxy, with outreach initiatives happening all over the Outer Rim and beyond in temples located on different planets. They were willing to assist everyone they came across while traveling and were available to those in need. That side of the Jedi has vanished by the time the Star Wars prequel trilogy is set. Rather, they have withdrew to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, leaving only in response to direct communications from a reliable source or when required by the Republic. The Jedi lost confidence in their own judgment and grew overly reliant on the Republic's leadership, somewhere between the Acolyte and the Phantom Menace. That marked the beginning of the end for them. It's difficult to say whether the darkness the Jedi feared came from the Sith and their followers as depicted in the Acolyte or from the creatures known as the Nameless, who were first introduced in the High Republic books and comics and feed on a Jedi's connection to the Force until the Jedi are reduced to shriveled husks. Most likely, both of them will be combined. They exposed themselves to attack by running away from the galaxy and dreading the dark, as was the case with Master Torbin in the Acolyte. The security of their bubble comforted them. For Master Torbin, it was an actual Force bubble. For the Jedi Order, it was Coruscant's security and their fortified Jedi temple. They thought that by reflecting on themselves, they would be able to overcome their shortcomings, their guilt, their waning faith in themselves, and their oncoming disaster. However, darkness can arise from both the inside and the outside. They effectively isolated themselves, allowing everything bad to rot and fester until it was too late for them to see what was going on. As Torbin hadn't given himself an opportunity to process his feelings and his guilt, May knew just what to say to force him to take the poison. Because the Jedi Order hadn't faced their dread, Palpatine understood exactly how to drive them closer to their demise without ever revealing his true identity as a Sith. The events involving Master Torbin in Star Wars, The Acolyte ought to have served as a cautionary tale for the Jedi, but instead they committed the same error.